Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. So, we are again starting the series of important legal updates like I did it for last time, right? So, we'll be discussing all the important legal developments that are happening every month, right? So, we'll be taking it up every week, right? And it is going to be very important series for you guys because legal reasoning in CLAT holds the maximum weightage, right? And when you look at all those passages that we get, they are mostly related to the current affairs. If you look at the 2022's paper, CLAT examination question paper, I hope you would have gone through it by now. So you would have realized that there are a lot of similarity or there are a lot of connection with regard to the legal developments, recent legal developments that are happening, and that is why it makes this series even more important, right? On the second hand, it's also important because it will enable us to deal with the unfamiliar passages. There are a lot of students who have this problem, right? When you get any passage that you're familiar with, any topic, say torts or contracts or constitution, it seems like a cakewalk to you. But the moment you get unfamiliar passages, right, it becomes somewhat problematic for you. Maybe it will take more time, it will cause some anxiety, all of that. So it's always better to be prepared before your D-Day for such surprises, so that such surprise should not impact your performance on your examination, right? So let's very quickly start with the updates. These are all going to be very quick updates for you so that you at least are familiar, you at least get familiar with all these developments, right? So let's start. First and foremost is with regard to an initiative that our government of India had initiated, right? So now there is an update with regard to this, that our cabinet, they have approved that uh, CDRI, that is Coalition of Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. This is an initiative. Now it has been approved to be considered as an international organization. Okay, so our union cabinet has approved that. They have signed the headquarter agreement. Now, what happens with regard to this? What is the benefit out of that they get out of it? So there are basically two more benefits. First and foremost is that they will be getting all the exemptions. They'll be getting immunities. They'll be getting privileges of all those all those listings that they have, that is mentioned in the UN Privileges and Immunities Act. All right, so there are a lot of exemptions that they get with regard to their power, with regard to their functions. Apart from that, they will also be immune from any legal process. So that is also a great thing, right? That's a great benefit. Now, talking about this initiative, it actually started in 2019. It was started by India. It was a global initiative, and it was done with partnership of a lot of private entities, private nations, national governments. There were certain UN agencies also that were involved. So it was like a global initiative that was initiated by government of India, that was initiated by India. And the main purpose here was to ensure that they could maintain, or they could increase the resilience of all the infrastructure that we have, right, towards the climate change or towards the disaster, right? Because we have been hearing about all these disaster, natural calamities, climate change, all of that is happening, and they all have their impact on infrastructure, right? So we need certain kind of resilience, and that is why this problem was identified by India and this initiative was started. Yeah. Then comes very important forest conservation rule. Environment law has become a hot topic. It has been hot topic since long, but nowadays it has got some other kind of fire, right? So that's why this topic becomes very important. Talking about the recent development, we have got new rules out here, right? First and foremost is that there are three levels of authorities that have been appointed: advisory committee, steering committee, and regional empowered committee at national, state, and regional level respectively, right? So this is very important. Apart from that, there are certain responsibilities which was sort of distorted previously, but now Forest Act 2006, if you look at it, uh, the act very clearly it says that most of the rights with regard to the forest dwellers, that would lie, such decision making responsibility or such responsibility would lie on state, right? uh, Now, there is very interesting concept out here that is about compensatory afforestation, what happens is when you practice afforestation, you're compensated for the same. Now, for this, there are certain conditions that are attached. First and foremost is that if you want to afforest, if such state, all right, such state should have two-thirds of green area or one-third of forest area. That is first condition. Second is that previously you could not practice afforestation in other state, but now they have permitted it. They have given the permission. They have said that okay, now you can go to the other state, you can go to the other union territory also, and you can practice afforestation there. But there is a condition that is attached here, and that is that such state should have less than 20% of green cover. Right, then they can go to the other state. I mean, states, people can go there, states can go there, and they can practice afforestation in other state. Okay. Then comes another environment related legal development, that is recently Supreme Court has declared that in Nilgiris, right? I hope you would be aware of Nilgiri Hills. Yeah. So Nilgiri is situated in Tamil Nadu. Now, their 1 kilometer of boundary, right? So such boundary has been declared as eco-sensitive zone. So Supreme Court has declared that. Apart from that, Supreme Court has also given certain more direction. Like for example, first is that they have prohibited mining. You cannot, no one can now practice mining. They cannot do mining in the national park or wildlife sanctuaries in Nilgiris. Second is there is a body that has been instituted, and such body has to submit report every 3 months about all the activities that is taking place in that area. Okay, and that authority is Principal Chief Conservator of Forest. And the next one is that now it has been prohibited that any structure should not be uh, uh, allowed in any of the eco-sensitive zones, right? So these are like the pronouncements from the Supreme Court. These are the directions that have been given by the Supreme Court. Now, you must be wondering what is eco-sensitive zone. So eco-sensitive zone, we get this concept from Environment Protection Act, that is that came in 1986, wherein it was declared that if there is certain land that falls within the 10 kilometers periphery of the national park or wildlife sanctuary, that area of 10 kilometers would be considered as eco-sensitive zone, and that zone is a special zone. Why? Because there are a lot of activities that are not permitted in that zone. Like for example, you cannot carry out any mining there, you cannot do any hazardous activity there, you cannot go promote tourism there, you cannot allow tourism there. Yeah, so all of these activities are prohibited in such area. Moving on to, I hope by now everybody would be aware of it, single-use plastic. Yes, so this was a great initiative, again, related to environment law. Got effective from 1st of July 2022. There were certain kind of activities that have been banned with regard to single-use plastic. Mind it is only about single-use plastic, not plastic as whole. Okay, so do not get confused with that. Now, what all activities have been banned? Import, stocking, distribution, sale, use, all of that. Now, important part here is that there are 3 enforcing agencies here at each level, at central, state, and local level. For central level, we have Center Pollution Control Board. These agencies, these boards were already there. Now that single-use plastic has been promoted, it has been it is now effective in our system. These are the bodies who will be looking after the single-use plastic ban, right? So Central Pollution Control Board, then state, and then pollution control committees. For this, punishment has also been decided, which actually comprises of 5 years of imprisonment plus, or it should be or and sort of penalty of 1 lakh or both. And where do we get this inspiration from? Where do we get this idea of single-use plastic ka ban? So basically, we get it from UN Environment Assembly, right? So these are the important areas wherein you know it can be touched upon in your passage. Now, when we talk about the relation of single-use plastic with our constitution, because of course, whenever you try touching anything at international level, see if there is any way to our local laws also. Local laws means our national laws, right? So with regard to single-use plastic, since we get the inspiration from UN Environment Assembly, we are also going to relate it to our local laws also. First and foremost, Article 21, right to life, which gives us right to clean environment plus right to live in a pollution-free environment, right? I've mentioned the case laws. Just you need not mug up these case laws. That is not at all required. It's just that at least you should be able to, you know, if suppose MC Mehta versus Union of India is mentioned in your passage, it should not give you a setback. Now what is this? I've not ever heard of it, you know. So it's just that you should just be familiar with it, that yeah, there is some case which has such and such name, which has such and such party, you know, and these are certain contentions that have been given by such case, all of that. So these are the expansive interpretation of these articles that we have, right? Then there is another very important article, Article 19.1. Now, there also a case has talked about noise pollution, wherein it was said that if there is there's a loudspeaker beyond a certain level, if it is used, it causes noise pollution. It has been recognized in that case, right? And there was another case wherein it was said that environment interest should always be balanced with Article 19. So it's like you can practice Article 19, you can practice rights under Article 19, but along with that, you need to be aware of, you need to keep environment interest also parallelly, right? You should also keep that into consideration. Then there is another article, Article 15.1G, talks about simple protection and improvement of our natural environment. Article 47 talks about certain level of it says that states should increase the level of nutrition, should increase the level of standard of living, and increase the level of public health, right? So all of that, mostly with regard to DPSPs, right? Then last one for today is with regard to the appointment of Chief Justice in 5 high courts. So such notification was given by Ministry of Law and Justice. Now, which all are the high court wherein such appointment has taken place? In Uttarakhand, Telangana, Rajasthan, Himachal Pradesh, and Guwahati. Now, how does this appointment take place? First and foremost is we'll have to check the constitutional provision. Whenever such news comes in the newspaper, I am assuming that you are keeping yourself updated with the newspaper. So whenever you see any such news, right, of course, the facts are also very important from your GK's perspective or from legal GK perspective. But when we talk about legal reasoning, you need to dive into a bit into the backstory. You need to see what is it that I can relate this news to in my syllabus. Can I relate it to torts? Can I relate it to contracts? Can I relate it to constitution? Most of the news that you would find, you would be able to connect it to constitution in some or other way. It's very rare to get torts, contracts, and family and all of that. It's once in a while such news comes, right? So mostly you'll be able to connect it to constitution. Now, here talking about appointment of Chief Justice, of course, we have to talk about Article 217 that talks about appointment of judges in High Court, right? Now, who does this? President does this in consultation of Chief Justice of India plus Governor of the state, wherein such Chief Justice has to be appointed. Yeah. Now, here comes the concept of collegium. Now, what is collegium? Collegium is the sort of a group, right, wherein CGI sits plus two senior most judges, they both sit and they recommend a name of a judge for the position of Chief Justice. So this is how Chief Justice is appointed overall for their respective states. Yeah. So that was it for today's session. Thank you so much. Please stay tuned with this channel, and I will keep coming up with all these legal updates, and it is all going to be very important. So you can press the bell icon, you can subscribe to this channel, so that when I come for the next session, you get to watch it, right? You are notified about it. Yeah, so thank you so much. All the very best. See you.